So one of the announcements that happened during the Game Awards was the shadow dropping of the finals, a game that I have been highly advocating for and dubbing as the next big thing. If you followed my channel for a while, you may have seen that I have participated in every closed beta as well as the open beta of this game, and to me, I have always viewed this game as the next big thing. And the reason I view this is because unlike every other first-person shooter on the market, there is nothing like the finals. And I mean nothing. You can compare it to any other shooter you want, but there is nothing that resembles this game. And because this game has such a unique feel to it, it has its own identity. As of the making of this review on a Tuesday morning, the finals sits number 6 on Steam most played with 190,000 concurrent players and a peak of just over 200,000. So safe to say, in the early going of this game's official launch, it's doing very, very well. But how is the game itself? Well, much as I've stated in those betas, the game is absolutely fantastic for the most part. I've tested the game on both my PC and my PlayStation 5, and the game runs very well. I've had no issues whatsoever personally, and of course, the game is incredibly fun to play. One of the things that they did add over the course from the beta was they did add the new Vegas map as well as the new throwing knives for the light class. So there was a couple of things added. So when you fire up the game, you'll be prompted to do the tutorial should you choose to do so, create your character, and then you'll find the usual tropes that come with free-to-play games. Things such as a battle pass, the in-game store with the currency, the items within the store itself, and of course the challenges you need to complete in order to progress your battle pass. All of these things are industry standard when it comes to free-to-play shooters. So none of these things should come as a surprise to anyone who's actively looking to play this game. But as for the game itself, this game is a 3v3v3 if you're playing quick cash, or if you're in the game's tournament mode, it's a 3v3v3v3 setup. So you are in a squad of 3, and you and your squad, the goal of the game when you're playing the primary game mode cash out is to go to the cash box, collect the box, put it into a vault, defend the vault, and claim that cash. The team with the most cash at the end wins. If you're in the tournament mode, the top 2 teams will advance to the next round, while the bottom 2 teams will get eliminated, and you'll progress to the eventual final showdown with a 1v1 situation with one squad battling another squad. And of course, all of this ties to the name, the finals. Now, one of the things that I do love about this game is the potential for cross-promotional things that they can do. So we've seen other games like Call of Duty bring in people like Nicki Minaj. We've seen Fortnite do things with Marvel, Lego, Eminem, etc. The finals is in a very similar boat because it portrays itself as a game show. You create your avatar and you go in, and it behaves much like a game show, or very similar to Ready Player One, the film that was based off the book. So there is plenty of room for Embark to team up with another developer or another IP of sorts and say, hey, let's bring X IP over. They could sit there and say, hey, let's bring John Wick into the game. Let's bring Mario into the game. Because the game is wacky enough. It embraces the fantasy of a game show and the wackiness. For crying out loud, if you look at some of the cosmetics, you could have a panda head. You could have a bird sitting on your shoulder. One of the cosmetics even puts a roulette on the reload on the magazine of the LMG. So being based on a game show type environment, something like Squid Game, something like Hunger Games, it works really well if they wanted to do cross-promotional items as well as create their own wacky things. So think of it kind of like Fortnite when it comes to the customization and what you can do. Now, when it comes to the customization of the finals, you have your 2 currencies. The one currency is the real-world money currency that you have to buy, in which you then use to buy the battle pass or buy your cosmetics. The other currency, the VRS currency, is earned in-game. This currency is specific to unlocking in-game items that need to be used for gameplay. So if you want to unlock a new piece of equipment, you want to unlock a new gun, you have to use this currency to do so. I am curious how they're going to handle that currency in the future when someone who's dedicated enough time has unlocked everything that you could possibly unlock, and yet you're still accruing currency. It's like, what are you going to do with that? I imagine down the road they will add more weapons, items, pieces of gear that people can use, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do at the forefront. Overall, the game runs really well, the servers play really well, and the game is a blast to play, provided you're in a squad. I've stated this before in the beta test, that if you are solo queuing, especially in the tournament mode, you are in for a very frustrating experience because it is really Russian roulette on what you're going to get. Lots of people don't use voice chat, and lots of people leave the game if they're not playing good. So playing tournament mode, I would highly recommend you get a squad. You can look for a squad in the game's official Discord, but you need a squad where everybody's going to be on comms if you're going to play the tournament mode. Quick cash, it's simple as that. You can just log on if you don't really care. You just want to have some fun. You don't need a squad. And the luxury about quick cash is the game will backfill if somebody leaves. So it's not entirely too bad. I've had games personally where my 2 squad mates would just leave. I would get backfilled with 2 more squad mates, and I would end up winning the game. So it is possible, and it's not be all if someone leaves your game, but it still can be frustrating nonetheless. As such, this game is highly recommended that you squad up with 2 friends, whether you use the game's Discord for LFG or you have 2 friends on your friends list that are actively playing. Either way, that would probably be the best way to enjoy the finals. The one mode I do want to talk about is the mode regarding, I forget what it's called, where you go in and you're basically collecting coins. This mode, to me, it's kind of more like Team Deathmatch because the way it is all your team members collect the coins and you have to deposit said coins. And unlike the cash box of Cash Out, where you can throw the cash box away to hide it somewhere, you can throw it a distance and try to hit the vault. You can't do that. You actually have to physically deposit it. And if one of your teammates does have a lot of coins, it really relies on your team protecting that one teammate. Otherwise, when you die, you're going to lose the coins. So overall, I've spoken very good about the game. But what is the flaw? What is wrong with the finals? Well, I kind of touched on matchmaking and how it's best enjoyed with a squad. But one of the other issues, and this was an issue during the betas and it's an issue now, is the game's overall balancing. There is clear-cut advantages to certain weapons and certain pieces of gear, while others not so much. And I think that is one of the issues with the game, as certain weapons like a double-barrel shotgun makes no sense to play when you have access to much better weapons. Even the melee weapons, like the heavy does have a melee weapon, but the issue with the heavy is that they're a walking giant target for anybody. Yes, they have a lot of health, but you can see them a mile away, and if they need to be protected if they're using a melee weapon. Whereas if you're using the light build and a melee weapon, you can dash, you can grapple hook, or you can cloak, allowing you to get in close to use this weapon. Yes, you have a small health pool, but you have a small hitbox, and you move very, very quickly. So you can use your maneuverability to your advantage to get melee kills. So it really does depend on what you're using and what you're trying to do, but there is a clear-cut balancing issue where some weapons and gear are better than others. But with balancing, as we all know in a live game, it can always change with one single patch, and then what was once overpowered is now underpowered and vice versa. But overall, I highly recommend the finals. I think the finals is the next big thing. I've praised this from a long time. It is made by former Battlefield developers, but the most important thing is that it is unique. There is nothing in the first-person shooter space that compares to the finals in terms of what it's like. You know, Call of Duty and X-Defiant are very similar. We know this. Valorant and Counter-Strike, although have their differences, they are similar. Overwatch 2, Team Fortress 2, again, have their differences, but they're very similar. There is nothing like the finals, and because of this standout, I think this game is going to last a very long time, and the players are going to stick around because not only is it different, It is incredibly fun to play. Overall, I'm giving the finals a 9 out of 10, and this is unquestionably my shooter of the year. This is Veteran Gamer, and I hope to see you guys next time.